Administration officials have sent some mixed messages about the attacks on the U.S. consulate in Libya back September 11th. 4 Americans were killed. Now, after 4 days of insisting the attack had nothing to do with anything other than an alleged film that was offensive, on Thursday, Press Secretary Jay Carney switched gears and he said this. He said, "It is self-evident that what happened in Benghazi was a terrorist attack." Later that same day, the president said this on the Spanish language network Univision.
What we've seen over the last week and a half, is something that actually we've seen in the past, where there is an offensive video or cartoon directed at the Prophet Muhammad, and this is obviously something that then is used as an excuse by some to carry out inexcusable violent acts directed at Westerners or Americans.
Now, I've said this before, let me say again. Not saying it lightly, and I'm not saying it to be sensational. Your government lied to you. There is no doubt whatsoever that there was intelligence and information that led to the clear conclusion that there was something brewing. On September the 4th, a letter was written. It was posted in the Jerusalem Post on September the 11th itself, and that letter specifically said that there's something brewing that might happen to the embassy in Egypt. The number 2 security official in Libya had sent word 3 days before to the United States that they feared that there would be some type of uprising and possible attacks on Americans in Libya. The idea that this all came from some YouTube video is irrational and insults the intelligence of every thinking person who thinks for a moment that people just decide to show up with RPGs at a consulate where the ambassador happens to be because they heard somewhere out on the streets that there was some video that was offensive to Islam. And besides that, we in America don't give up our free speech just because somebody else in the rest of the world gets their feelings hurt. Now, I understand people will say, well, we shouldn't provoke people. Well, I got a better solution. Instead of blaming us for provoking you with something wonderful called the freedom of speech and the freedom of worship, why don't you grow up and become something other than the uncivilized kind of society that would go murder people because you didn't like a video? That's who needs to get corrected, not the United States of America.